Hello and welcome to Penzance here in sunny Cornwall. Today I'm going to be taking a trip with GWR all the way through to London Paddington, and I'll be doing it in first class. As usual, I'll be assessing the comfort levels, amenities, complimentary food and drink, general ambience, and most importantly, judging the value of the service over travelling in standard class. GWR operate trains mostly out of London Paddington. The long distance routes brings them down to Penzance in Cornwall, also over to South Wales, places like Cardiff, Swansea, Carmarthen, but their longest journey is actually this one from Penzance to London. Journey times do vary depending on stopping patterns. The service I'll be taking today is the 10:20 to London Paddington. It takes around 5 hours and 7 minutes, so I wonder how much tea I'm going to be offered today. Let's get on board. Although actually, before we get on board, they do have a first class lounge. However, the train leaves in about 20 minutes, so I'm just going to have a very quick look around. I'm not going to get anything, just see what there is. So there's a lounge behind me. All it has is a tea and coffee station and some drinks. I can't actually see any snacks, but like I said, we don't have much time, so I'm just going to jump on board and check out the seat. One of the weird things about first class is that often it's just at one end of the train, so that does mean that sometimes you have to walk right down the far end of the platform to get to it, and I suppose often they're going to do that at the London end of the train, assuming it goes to London, because that's generally going to be the busiest portion. GWR do both long-distance high-speed services, but also slower regional services. It would be nice if those flowers didn't look quite so dead, but never mind. Most long-distance trains are operated using these Class 800 or 802 intercity express trains. This particular 9-car train has 2 carriages of first class, consisting of a small compartment at the front of the train, plus a full carriage of first class next to it. The remaining 7 carriages are all standard class. On board. So as you can see, there's a mix of seating types. I have plonked myself into this berth of 2 because it is shown as available for the entire journey. You also get these blocks of 4. You also get these solo tables. Some of them have flippy up tables. Others, like this one, has a static table. And I can see down there's also a table of 2 facing each other. But it seems like there's only one in that whole carriage, so if that's what you're wanting, you better be quick to select it. That one must be the worst first class seat in the world. Solo seat, no window. You can barely see anything. I suppose you've got that view over there. I feel sorry for whoever's booked this for the entire duration of this journey. So let's just have a look around then. So down here, everyone gets their own plug socket and USB, and you can see there's another one on the side of me there for the person in this seat. You get a movable armrest, nice big table. You also get a movable cook with soft close function, and we have a blind which only goes down as far as that. And then, actually, these overhead racks are massive. I easily managed to fit my extra thick bag onto it. Quite often, when I'm travelling with that one, I can't get it up on the overhead racks. So I like how it's got a massive amount of space up there. Oh, yes, it's also got a recline function. I mean, it doesn't recline a lot, but, you know, it's some, and that's all you need. And these seats are designed in a particular way that when you recline, you're not heading into the space of the person behind you, unlike in an airline. So there's none of that, oh, is it okay if I recline? No, just do it. Just notice one other little amenity. A hook for hooking things onto. You can't really put a coat there, I don't know what that's for. We pulled out of Penzance just a couple of minutes late. We had to wait for another late running train which was occupying a piece of single track line, so once they arrived, we could get going. So let's take a closer look at the route we'll be taking today. Departing at 10:20, we travel west out of Penzance, calling at numerous regional stations in Cornwall such as Redroof, Truro, St Austell, and Bodmin Parkway, then crossed the River Tamar into Plymouth. From there we followed the south coast into Devon via Totnes, Newton Abbot, Exeter St David's, Tiverton Parkway and Taunton. We then travelled fast towards London, stopping only at Reading, and due to arrive in London Paddington at 15:27 after a total travel time of 5 hours and 7 minutes.
Morning. Any refreshments for you then?
Oh, just going to have a cup of tea, please.
Was there something to eat for you?
Yeah, what's on offer?
Food-wise, you've got biscuits, flapjacks, fruitcake, there's pastries, porridge. Oh, there's also some fruit in there as well.
Cup of tea. This is... oh, it's a brand I've never heard of before. Tregoffnen. And look, it is steaming hot. Steaming hot cup of tea. Raspberry croissant. Oh, and it's vegan. It's a nice filling. And it tastes pretty good too. If it didn't say vegan on the packet, I wouldn't even know it was vegan. It's good. Shortly into the journey, I overheard another passenger talking to the conductor about a problem with their reserved seats. Apparently, the seats they were allocated are in separate carriages, and so they couldn't find any of the seats that were actually sat together. And so I offered them the bank of two that I was sat in, and I would just move to a solo seat instead.
Thank you for doing
No
that.
worries.
That helps me. Do you want G&T?
It was a bit early for that, but...
You always take it away.
Bless your heart. They booked us on separate coaches and they couldn't readjust it, which is very bizarre.
Which is weird, because this is available, so you could have booked you in here.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a fun situation. They can have a seat of two. I've got the seat of one. Everyone's happy. Very busy here in Truro. We'll even have first class lounge here. On leaving Truro, the snacks trolley was brought around again, but I politely declined. That was shortly followed by sandwiches. However, it was only about 11:30 in the morning, and I was still full from a hotel breakfast. The host said another batch of sandwiches would be loaded at Plymouth, and so I declined this offer, opting to take a sandwich later in the journey instead. But now it's time for the obligatory Loo review. Welcome to the First Class Loo. There is a nice, proper full-length mirror. And another mirror over there. You have a proper lock one. Soap, water dryer as normal. Water works. Soap works. Dryer. There's a weak one. Baby change. Ooh, that's fine. About an hour into the journey and it's fairly clean. Good. I'm going to check it just as we're coming into London, see if it's still the same. At Liskeard, another refreshment service was offered, and this time I opted for a can of lemonade. As we head towards Plymouth, we pass over the impressive Royal Albert Bridge. Built in 1859 by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, it stands next to its younger sibling, the Tamar Bridge, which carries the A38. Both stand around 30 metres above the River Tamar. At Plymouth, the train got even more full, and this is where the crew also changed over. The guy who served us between Penzance and Plymouth was amazing. A great ambassador for the company, 10 out of 10 for him. Another refreshment service was offered after Totnes. I opted for another cup of tea and a bag of crisps. He also brought around the second batch of sandwiches, but the options were very limited.
So I've got cheese and onion, which is gluten-free, or an egg mayonnaise.
I'll go for the egg mayo.
Yeah, of course, there we go.
Thank you. I wouldn't normally get an egg mayo sandwich. I find them to be very bland and boring, and this one was no exception. Yeah, this is why I would eat plain boring egg. Okay, I'm back in the vestibule, looking at the view which just disappeared in the tunnel. That was my reflection. It's pretty, isn't it? Well, I mean, it'll be prettier if it's a sunny day, but never mind. Half an hour later, even more refreshments were offered. More snacks. I've gone this time for a gluten-free apricot flapjack. It's alright. The apricot's kind of a bit lost though, but the whole thing is pretty good. Pretty sweet. It's time to check the Wi-Fi. As usual, I checked it in 3 separate locations and it worked well each time. It's not super quick, but it's good enough for general browsing. There was one final refreshment service upon leaving Reading, but by this time I was so full I didn't even want anything else. But here's another item I was given on a separate GWR journey, which was a vegan snack box. So inside here we have a apple and maple flapjack, some classic hummus, a knife presumably to spread the hummus onto these oat cakes. We also have a Tex-Mex cheese crunchy corn nibbles. Well, that hummus was a bit meh. Needs sriracha, but these Tex-Mex cheese things, quite cheesy. Okay, and the flapjack. It's a flapjack. So we're just left Reading and we're now speeding towards London at around 125 or 24 miles an hour. I thought it's time for us to sum up on the journey. I quite like GWR actually. All the staff were really friendly, really helpful. There were quite a lot of passengers, elderly passengers on today with a lot of heavy luggage, and they were really helpful to them and finding places to store their big bags and even helping them get on and off the trains. They were great. And when people couldn't find their reserved seats or a reserved seat or unreserved seat, they were helpful to find that, which was brilliant. Snack service and food, pretty extensive. There's a lot of carb heavy stuff, which was pretty typical, but everything was quite tasty actually, everything I tried. So no complaints about the food. But do you get value for money? Well, let's look at prices. So on this route between Penzance and London, anytime standard single is £159.50. On a first class version is £224.40. So you're paying about £65 more to travel first class. With advanced tickets, the standard class, the cheapest I found is £82, and the first class is £119.50. So again, you pay about 40 quid more. And of course, split tickets are also available, which will get it cheaper than that. So is it worth the uplift? Well, as a percentage of how much you pay in standard versus first, it's actually not that much more. So if you have the money, why not do it? I mean, yes, the food offerings could be a bit better because it's all pre-packaged stuff, and as a long distance carrier you may want to consider something a bit more substantial than a sandwich. But overall, I don't think it's too bad. They're definitely worse, they're also definitely better. I feel like GWR is sort of middle of the road of the serviced first class in the UK. The seat itself is very comfortable. I've not felt the need to move about much to, change my comfort level. The one thing I will say though, this fabric is a little bit scratchy, and if you're rubbing your arm on it, or if you are wearing, say, short shorts or a short skirt, and your legs are sat on this, that might feel a bit annoying after a while. It's probably fine if you're wearing trousers or a long skirt, but if you have bare legs, it's gonna be uncomfortable. I can feel it already. I can sense it already, shall we say. But this headrest is pretty cool, and if you recline while you get a bit of rest, it's actually nice. This cushion, it's like a pillow, it's great. So will I travel with GWR in first class again? Yeah, I think I definitely would. I mean, yes, okay, it's not like the best, but it doesn't have to be the best. It just has to be good enough, I feel. And for the uplift in price, I think it's actually a pretty good deal. So what would I rank GWR out of 10? Well, they're not on the same level as other long distance operators as say LNER or Avanti West Coast, despite some of their services being longer than them. The complimentary food and drink is nothing special, but there is a lot of it. The hosts came around pretty much after every station, which was great. I could have got a lot more food than I did if I really wanted to. Okay, final loo check. The floor has gotten a little wet. There's like stuff all over the sink. This doesn't seem to be draining anymore. And there's tissue paper everywhere. Well, yes. So, I'm marking this down. There's a couple of other things I'm taking into account with their ranking. Firstly, they do serve complimentary alcohol, but only between 5 PM and 7 PM. I'm not aware of any other first class train operator that puts this tight time restriction on complimentary alcohol. Secondly, not all routes that have first class seat have complimentary refreshments. For example, services from Cardiff to Penzance have no first class service at all, despite running on the same tracks. So if you're travelling from, say, Plymouth to Truro, you'll want to check that the train originated in London in order to get your onboard food. If it came from Cardiff, then you're out of luck. For this, I'm going to give them a 6.5 out of 10, which puts them in third place so far on our leaderboard, just above Hull Trains. And welcome to London Paddington. Really nice journey, really good. I quite liked it. So whilst this first class is pretty good, it's not the only type of first class that GWR do. We also do Pullman dining, where you get proper meal service on a train. It's not very common in the UK, but it sounds like it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be taking that train in about 2 hours time. Sadly, you're going to have to wait a week for it. So make sure you're subscribed and click that notification bell so you can be notified the moment it's released. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.